We're off to the British Virgin Islands for a week to go sailing with our friends from Victoria, British Columbia.
Oh, do you see? Oh, there's your luggage.
There are no direct flights there from Toronto, so we've flown via Miami to St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Then we'll take a boat ferry to Tortola. St. Thomas is 74 kilometers east of Puerto Rico. The Virgin Islands are made up of both U.S. and British territories. The U.S. occupies the western chain, St. Croix, St. John, St. Thomas, and 50 smaller islands and keys. Thank you!
Have a wonderful time.
We're staying in St. Thomas for a couple of days before hooking up with our friends. European colonization starts here in 1657, when the Dutch West India Company sets up a post. But it's the Danish West India Company that brings colonial settlers and in 1673 establishes a slave market.
Lanterns are on your left, taxis are straight ahead and to the right.
A slave trade that continues until 1848, when it's abolished, following the Danish Revolution. Finally found my bag. It didn't come through. The whole room's empty. But we got our bag now. It must have come off right at the beginning and got stuck over in that corner.
No, probably got on an earlier flight.
American interest in St. Thomas begins during the American Civil War. But it isn't until 1917 that the U.S. successfully negotiates with the Danes for the purchase of St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. For 175 years, enslaved Africans worked the sugarcane plantations on the three islands. The plantations enriched the free citizens, but in the 1800s, as more and more plantations are established in the Americas, St. Thomas's economy collapses. And with emancipation, the cost of labor makes it impossible to compete. It's important to note that in the Virgin Islands, like almost everywhere in the Caribbean, there are no indigenous populations left. Following the arrival of Columbus in 1493, the original inhabitants are displaced or wiped out. Most Saboni, Arawak, and Carib people perish from disease, starvation, slavery, or conflict. From the Second World War on, tourism has steadily become the island's economic engine. With the advancement of jet airliners in the 1950s, the island's development blossoms with hotels and vacation properties. Add to that now becoming a major cruising destination, and you have a healthy tourist industry. We're staying at Bluebeard's Castle, an historic property built on a fortification from the 1600s. Not much is known about Bluebeard the pirate, though one story is that he built the castle for his love, Mercedita, who cheated on him, so he left her. Actual history records that in 1689 it was built as a lookout for the Danes. The property is now one of the biggest hotels on the island. The idea of Bluebeard may have come partly from Blackbeard, Edward Teach, a well-known pirate of the late 1600s. Or from a notorious fictional serial killer of the same era named Bluebeard, one of the original Mother Goose stories by Charles Perrault, the creator of the fairy tale genre. The end of our first day, and we're a bit exhausted, so we decide to stay at the hotel for dinner at the bar. Cheers. What do you have? You have a snapper. Wow, looks like Franklin Roosevelt was a guest here in 1934. The hotel has a really cool vibe at night. And somehow the Bluebeard mythology seems to be more alive. And who is staying in the tower now? Next day, we hire a driver for a couple of hours to tour around. We luck out with Magic. So Magic, good morning.
Good morning, sir. And how are you doing?
Good. We're looking forward to looking at few things around the island today.
Well, the magic man there to do that for you and take good care of you.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
So we're going to explore all around the island. With the St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Island, it's located in 3 areas. You get St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John's. This is the free island the U.S. government bought from Denmark.
Ah.
That was in the 1917. They bought this free island for 25 million. Roughly 61,000 people live on St. Croix, also in St. Thomas. But since after the hurricane, Irma and Maria, they had destroyed the island real bad.
Yeah.
A lot of people run to the States. Over 20,000 people in each island run to the States.
The island was devastated by Hurricane Maria in 2017. There are still many properties that have yet to be rebuilt. The epicenter was in nearby Puerto Rico, where the death toll reached nearly 3,000. Here in the U.S. Virgin Islands, only 3 died, but it could easily have been a lot worse. Unlike Bluebeard, the notorious Blackbeard, Edward Teach, was an actual pirate, and there is a monument to him at the top of these 99 steps. His exploits throughout the West Indies and the southeastern seaboard of America are well documented. From 1716 to 18, Teach builds up a pirate crew of over 300 men, operating from a captured French ship renamed Queen Anne's Revenge, armed with 40 guns. He cultivates a fearsome image with 3 pistols slung over his shoulder, his thick black beard, and lit fuses poking out from his hat. Unfortunately, the monument here is closed for repairs. But the legend persists that Blackbeard used this tower to sight targets for pirating. It was originally built by the Danes for harbor observation and was called Skeitsborg, meaning protection castle. Blackbeard is eventually hunted down in 1718 at the orders of the Virginia governor. His head is displayed on a pole at the entrance to Chesapeake Bay as a warning to pirates. When Columbus landed in nearby St. Croix, he called the islands St. Ursula and her 11,000 virgins, shortened now to Virgin Islands. His arrival ushered in the horrors of colonialism. Remnants of the plantation era are still evident here, along with reminders of the struggle for emancipation. As we head to the peak of the island, we realize that we still have a lot to learn about St. Thomas. Thankfully, our friend Magic is really good at helping us out with that.
Her name was Charlotte Amalie. That was the queen of Denmark. So they named the city after her. Hostel Island and Water Island. When you go to Water Island, there is a beach they call Honeymoon Beach. It works on 3 things.
The island's highest elevation is 474 meters at Crown Mountain. From the highest viewpoint looking north, you can see dozens of the smaller islands in the chain. And there's a bar at the top with the biggest gift shop tourist trap I've seen in a long time. They pride themselves with the biggest selection of beer on the island. As it was only 11 a.m., it was a bit too early for us to start drinking, but it was tempting.
Very good. Let's go.
The north side of the island is really beautiful. Maggins Bay is the biggest inlet on this side and has some lovely vacation properties that are very affordable. But you need a car over here, and there's the challenge of some really steep roads. There are some nice viewpoints along the way, but you have to be careful as there are a lot of cars. The island has restricted large hotel developments here, keeping them mostly to the south side. This lookout seemed to be a favorite spot for iguanas. We really enjoyed our morning with Magic, but it was time to explore Charlotte Amalie for a bit. If you need to contact Magic for your exploration here, just ask the concierge at Bluebeards. There's lots of little laneways with shops and eateries tucked into them. They mostly cater to the crowds that pile off the cruise boats every day.
Open. Let's go.
Couldn't help noticing the number of police emergencies at all times of the day. St. Thomas is a fairly safe place to walk around, especially in tourist places like this. But there are reports of higher incidences of violent crimes, especially gang or drug related. Which basically means stick to the tourist areas and don't do things like go walking on unlit back streets at night. It's also good to check with your host wherever you're staying for local advice about this. Despite the sirens, we had a nice walk through town and across the waterfront. That's our hotel up on the hill there, so we decided to walk all the way back. It's actually a very pretty town, and not uncommon to see feral chickens roaming through the streets. This brood is definitely being closely watched over by their rooster, protective of his hens.
We made it. Almost.
Time for a swim, then a nap.
Practice, right?
Get a shot with both of us. After our nap, we head down to Craven Crabs and treat ourselves to a seafood feast.
Ready?
It was really good. Up next on Turn Left here, we meet up with our friends, then hop on the ferry over to Tortola in the British Virgin Islands.
Going that way. Then we're going that way.
And we check in with BVI Yacht Charters to start our week-long sailing charter. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all the latest episodes. See you soon!